Are you okay?
I have so much to do. First, I need to write my science paper, then finish the math questions before I go to meet Sebastian. Then I have to call my parents.
Whoa, sounds like you're really stressed out. Yeah, do you want to try and, relax a little bit?
Relax? I don't have time to relax. But there are people to see and places to go and things to do.
Well, yes, but you can always do them after you take a moment to breathe, okay? Shall we take some deep breathing? Okay. Exhale. One more. Okay. Feeling better?
Yeah. I feel better already.
Good.
In fact, this has helped me remember the first thing to do on my to-do list. Today's article.
Okay.
Reading.
There's nothing brilliant about burnout. Work is going brilliantly, but you certainly don't feel brilliant. You're tired, exhausted even, and you're always getting sick. The doctors say nothing is wrong with you, but you certainly don't feel that way. What could possibly be the matter? No, you're not imagining it. You're experiencing burnout. This condition affects people who are under a lot of pressure, often causing them to feel tired and helpless. Some cultures don't consider burnout a real problem. However, it can have serious effects on people's health, at times even resulting in panic attacks. One problem with burnout is how we deal with it. When the pressure's on, many people respond by working harder and trying to power through it. However, this often makes things worse. Instead, experts suggest allowing ourselves time to recover from stress. Exercise, proper sleep, and social connections all help with this. If you find you're still sick with worry after all that, then maybe it's time for some bigger changes. Start putting yourself first, and you'll soon give burnout the boot.
All right, today in our article, obviously we are talking about maybe some stress.
Yes.
Maybe some burnout, which we'll find out what is burnout or what burnout is in a minute. But first, let's get started. It says, work is going brilliantly.
Yay!
But you certainly don't feel brilliant. All right, well, what do we mean by brilliant? This adjective is another way of saying excellent. This word is often used to mean excellent by speakers of British English. And the adverb form just means that something is working or happening in an excellent way.
Right. Although I have to say, sometimes I say brilliant when things are going badly too.
Yeah. English is funny like that.
So, I mean, work is going brilliantly. You're not feeling brilliant though.
No.
You're tired, exhausted even, and you're always getting sick. Oh my gosh. Like, do you know anybody like this?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. So if we talk about the word exhausted, if you say you're always tired, you're even exhausted. Exhausted is an adjective that means extremely tired. Like not just, oh, I want to go to bed. It's more like your brain, your body are not working well. You can't think right. You don't want to do anything. You're in a bad mood. You've spent all your energy and all you want to do is rest. That means you are exhausted.
Right.
And often people get exhausted when they're sick or after they finish exercising a lot and they just kind of want to lay down. Or if they're stressed, they get exhausted too.
Exactly. All right. Well, maybe you are not feeling well and you're getting sick all the time. And you know what? Maybe you've even tried to go to the doctor. And here it says, the doctors say nothing is wrong with you, but you certainly don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Now, of course, nothing in that sentence is a pronoun, and we use it to mean not anything or no things. Now, here the doctor is saying that you are not experiencing any problems. But if that's true,
Then what could possibly be the matter, says the article.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is what we're trying to get into to explain. It says, no, you're not imagining it.
Your doctor's wrong.
You're experiencing burnout. Okay. So what do we mean by imagine? When you imagine, you make up pictures or thoughts in your mind about what something could be like. Now here, we're saying that you're not making these problems up in your mind. They are real. So what's happening? Let's find out here.
Okay, so we're talking about experiencing something called burnout. But before we get to what burnout is and what it's all about, we have to talk about this word experience. Now, you might know experience as a noun. It's something that you do or something that you've done in your life. But experience as a verb means to go through something, or this thing is happening to you. Often we use the experience verb with feelings or sensations in your body. Like you can say, I'm experiencing pain. I have experienced happiness. Somebody's experiencing love. And usually when we say you're experiencing it, it usually means for the first time, or at least for the first time in a long time, or the first time you've noticed it. So the noun, of course, as we said, is experience. They both have the same pronunciation. They're not like some words where the verb is pronounced differently from the noun. They are both experience. So it's something you feel, do, see, or happens to you. So here's an example of experience as a verb. Kayla experienced her first love in high school, a time she says she'll always remember.
So, you're experiencing burnout.
That's right.
Now, at its most basic, burnout is the feeling of always being too tired because you're working too hard or too much. However, it can also include symptoms of depression or deep sadness, doubt, and disinterest in the world around you. All the things we talked about at the beginning. So it's like feeling stressed, but stressed to the very extreme.
That's right. Because if you're continually, all the time feeling stress, eventually your body's going to get tired of having to fight it.
Right.
And you're going to sink into those depressed feelings, that tiredness,
that sickness.
Yeah. Even if you're not doing anything physically, the stress will make you exhausted.
Exactly.
So, I mean, seems like a pretty common condition, actually. The article says this condition affects people who are under a lot of pressure, often causing them to feel tired and helpless.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you're saying you're feeling a lot of pressure, pressure is a noun here that comes from the verb press. It's like you're being pushed down. It's the feeling of stress, or it's the feeling of being pushed or feeling hurried or forced to do something.
Right.
Like if somebody's pressuring you, they're trying to force you. So if we use this in a few different idioms, if we say something is high pressure, like I have a high pressure job, it means your job asks a lot of you. You probably have to work nights a lot. You probably, are very tired a lot.
Right.
We can also say the pressure's on, which means that this is a moment with a lot of pressure. Often we say this in sports.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you say no pressure, it means that you're asking somebody to do something, but you don't really need them to hurry.
Right.
So just ask them to relax, do it in a relaxed way. Or if you say you're under a lot of pressure, like in this case, this is like burnout.
Right.
So an example sentence for this is, with final exams coming up and his soccer team going to the championship, that means like the top game, Peter is under a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So he has a lot on his mind.
Yeah, maybe he's experiencing burnout. Now, we also use the verb cause in that sentence, and this is used to show that one thing makes another thing happen. So feeling a lot of pressure can make people feel tired and helpless. Pressure can cause tiredness and helplessness. Now, there are lots of other phrases we can use in English to mean this same thing. Two examples are lead to and result in. So extreme pressure can lead to burnout. Exactly.
Right, yeah, or it can result in burnout.
Yeah.
Well, but apparently this is, even though it's so widespread, there's not everybody recognizes it. Like that doctor in the beginning. Some cultures don't consider burnout a real problem.
Ooh, that can be a real problem for your body.
Absolutely, because if somebody says, oh, you're just sick, you don't have, like it's not the stress or anything, or everybody's supposed to be stressed, that's how the world is. That's how some people think.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, what happens here in these kinds of situations, it says, however, it can have serious effects on people's health, at times even resulting in panic attacks.
Ooh.
All right, in that sentence, we saw the noun effect. Now, an effect is something that happens or changes because it has been influenced by a certain event or action. Let's look at an example. a big typhoon hits Taiwan, and the wind and the rain cause some streets to flood and the windows in some houses to break. Now we could say the effects of the typhoon are flooded streets and broken windows because the typhoon caused those things to happen. Now a similar word, affect or affect, it's spelled A-F-F-E-C-T, affect, is the verb form of this word, and we can use it like this. The typhoon affected Taiwan in a bad way. That's spelled with the A-F-F-E-C-T. Okay, here are two example sentences. The first one has affect, that's the verb. The car accident affected Danielle for the rest of her life. And here is affect used as a noun. One effect of the car accident is that she can't walk properly anymore. Now, it's really easy to get those two words confused in English. So remember that affect with an A is the verb and affect with an E is the noun.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it seems like burnout can affect you in a really, really bad way by causing something called panic attacks. And this is something that a lot of people might experience, but they might not know what it is when they do.
That's right.
Yeah, so what is a panic attack basically?
Well, a panic attack is a time when you feel such high anxiety or stress that your body starts kind of shutting down. It becomes difficult to breathe, you get really hot, you might start sweating, and you will basically just have a hard time moving. Now it affects
or thinking,
it affects people in different ways. I've had a couple in really difficult exams in university. I've had panic attacks and I've gotten really hot. I was still able to breathe, but I couldn't think of anything. Now, basically my mind just stopped working and I actually wasn't able to write my test at all. I got so sick and ill from it that I had to just hand my test in and leave, and of course I got an F. Sort of thing. So
were you able to retake it?
I wasn't, unfortunately. So that's why I don't take research statistics anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
like
not
a hard class.
Not much of a math or research statistics person. But you know, unfortunately, this does happen at times.
Yeah, so I've also had panic attacks or anxiety attacks before. They're slightly different. For me, they don't cause me to stop moving, but I have a really hard time breathing and like you start to feel like you're gonna die. Like even if that doesn't make any sense, you start to feel like I need to go to a hospital, I'm in danger, that kind of feeling. Yeah.
Okay, well, these do happen at times.
Yes,
and
at times. Erin keeps trying to get me to do this word, at times. So this is a phrase that means sometimes, basically. It's just another way to say sometimes. You'll notice that both words use another word in the front and then times in the second part. So they have almost the same meaning because it's talking about a time like not that often, but not that rare either. So at times and sometimes, they're about the same thing.
Right. Now, we also used another phrase in that sentence, which we talked about earlier, and that was result in. We'd said this can result in panic attacks. Now, this phrase is related to the word cause that we looked at earlier. And when one thing causes another thing, it can make a certain result happen. Here, the result is a noun. So here in the article, burnout can cause panic attacks, or we could say burnout can result in panic attacks. As a noun, we could say burnout, or the result of burnout could be a panic attack.
Right.
Here's an example sentence with result in as a verb. Not going to the dentist can result in lots of problems with your teeth.
And that's the thing a lot of people don't do enough.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, if we're talking about burnout, well, what's the problem with it? Well, one problem with burnout is how we deal with it. Because most people are not taught how to deal with it.
Exactly. All right, so what do we mean here? It says, when the pressure's on, many people respond by working harder and trying to power through it. Okay, so what do we mean by respond? When you respond to something, you do something else in reaction to it, or you act in a certain way because of something that happened earlier. Let's look at an example. Your mother buys you a new phone for your birthday.
Woohoo!
Here's what happens first. You open the gift and see what it is. Now what do? You shout with delight and hug your mom and open it right away.
Right.
So these things, the shouting, the hugging, the opening the box, these are your responses or how you respond.
It's a little bit like cause and effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's an example. Eddie responded badly when I broke up with him. He started screaming and crying.
Oh my. Yeah, that sounds very sad, but
Yeah.
also, contain yourself a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and we're talking about how do people respond to burnout? Well, they often try to power through it. And if you power through something, it means you're having a bad time and you could quit. Nobody would fault you for quitting because it's so difficult and you're having such a hard time. But you use the energy or power through it that you have left to get through, and you do what needs to be done. So if you have like a big project at a school or a job that is due the next day, but you're only halfway through it because they didn't give you enough time, well, you're just gonna power through it. It means you're gonna work on it until it's finished, even if that
Exactly.
takes all night.
Exactly.
Right. So we have some similar phrases, which are some interesting idioms. One of them is bite the bullet, which means you take a bullet in your teeth and you take the pain. Or press on, push forward, keep going, or 加油, add oil. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, you know what? Powering through something is sometimes not too bad. Like if you really do need to get that project done tomorrow, then you get it done, and then the next night you can take off, right?
Yeah.
And that's what, if you have to power through something,
That's
make
right.
sure you can relax afterwards. But
Yeah.
people who experience burnout often just keep going. They just keep going and keep going and keep going.
Because they don't get a break.
Exactly. And it says, however, this often makes things worse.
Yeah. Because the more pressure you put on yourself, the more stress you add, the worse you'll feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, so instead, experts suggest allowing ourselves time to recover from stress.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So an expert, if you're talking about somebody who is an expert, this is a noun that means a person who has a very high degree of knowledge or a lot of knowledge about a certain subject. For example, if you're an expert in medicine, you're probably a doctor or you might be a researcher. If you're an expert in human history, you're called an archaeologist. Or a nutritionist is a person who's an expert in the healthy things you get from food.
Exactly.
You might be an expert in language if you know a lot of different languages, that kind of thing. All right, so an example of this might be, my aunt is an expert in art history, so we should ask her where this ancient statue comes from.
Okay.
She would know, she has a lot of knowledge.
All right. Well, we also use the phrase allow to. Now, the phrase allow to here means to make it possible for something to happen, especially something that's useful. Now, here we need to make it possible to have some time that is stress-free, such as take yourself on a vacation, go to bed early, take the weekend off, make this time that you're not working stress-free. And
Right.
only if you make this time stress-free will you recover from burnout. Recover means to just get better from or sort of become better after a period of stress or illness.
Right. And it's important, I think, to take some time to recover sooner than later, because the more stress you have, the longer it will take you to recover.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I mean, there's other things you can do too. Exercise, proper sleep, and social connections all help with this.
Get your friends.
Okay, so here we're talking about other things you can do to ease burnout, and one of them is social connections. When we say something social, that just means that we're talking about being with other people. So humans, we need our relationships, we need our friends, we need our family. And when we talk about social connection, connection is a noun that you're talking about linking two things together. So if you have social connection, it is a relationship where a person or a thing is linked with somebody else. In this case, it's human and human connections, and that makes it social. Your friends are a social connection. Your family, your partner, like a boyfriend or girlfriend. Your coworkers can also be a social connection for you as long as you get along. Or your classmates as well. I mean, humans, unlike some other animals that want to be alone, we are very social and we need to spend time with other people in order to be healthy. Whether you want to spend a lot of time or just a little bit of time, that's up to you. It depends on the person, but all of us need a connection. So other kinds of connections that we might hear about might be like connections between evidence and a criminal if police are investigating a crime that happened. Or an important one that we all use every day is our internet connection, our Wi-Fi. If we are connected to the internet, that means we can link to the internet and use it. Or if you are flying somewhere, you might have a flight connection. That means you fly to one airport and you have to get on another plane to get to the next place. That's called a connection. Here's an example sentence. After moving to a new country, Lynn immediately started seeking out connections with others so she wouldn't feel lonely.
All right, so those are all good things to try, but the article here says, if you find you're still sick with worry after all that, then maybe it's time for some bigger changes. Now let's look at this phrase, be sick with worry or be worried sick. This is just a strong way of saying that you're extremely worried about something. Sometimes when we feel very worried, we can get an upset stomach or start sweating a lot. You know, we talked about those panic attacks. You might think you're sick, but you're actually just experiencing signs of stress or worry.
Right. And stress can make you sick.
Exactly. Here's an example. Your father was sick with worry when you didn't call to tell us you'd be late.
Oh dear. So it sounds like Dad was really, really worried.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, now you have some ideas for things to do. And when they say make bigger changes, they mean probably change something in your life so that it's not stressing you out all the time.
Right.
Like if you have a job that asks too much of you, you might have to look for a different job. Or if school is asking too much of you, well, I don't know, maybe ask mom and dad if you can change schools.
Right.
Don't want to tell you what to do with your life. All right, so the article says, start putting yourself first and you'll soon give burnout the boot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what does put somebody first mean?
Well, if you put yourself first, if you think and act with that person in your mind and you're doing things that'll be good for them. So there are some people who put others first. And it means that everything that they do, they want to make sure it's good for other people. However, some people forget that they should put themselves first too. Like in this case, you think and act in a way that is healthy for you.
Right.
Because, I mean, I believe it's only after you help yourself you can help other people.
Exactly. All right. Well, the last thing we need to talk about in this article is the pocket phrase go for today, and that is to give something or give somebody the boot. Now, we are going to say goodbye for now with us. You guys can learn more about this pocket phrase go. We'll be back after that for our For You chat.
Okay.
Pocket phrase go!
太可恶了！今天被我发现有人在皇宫偷东西，而且还不止一次诶。没错，小偷就是可恶的 Abu。好险，他只是一个调皮的小猴子啊！如果换作是别人，我可能会把他给解雇。Okay, I would give them the boot. After all, stealing is illegal. 偷窃可是违法的诶。诶，是的，你刚刚没有听错哦。我刚刚说的片语 give something or somebody the boot。其实有解雇、开除的意思，或是一般也有甩开、赶走的意思哦。那当作是开除的意思，其实呢就很类似 to fire somebody。所以刚刚的句子我可以这么说 ：If I catch somebody stealing, I would fire them. OK？ 那猜猜看 ，get the boot 是什么呢？给人踹一脚吗？当然不是。我来造个句子，你们来猜猜看哦。If you're late again, you're getting the boot. 意思就是，如果你再迟到，我就给你一脚吗？还是你会得到一个 boot 靴子？哎呀，应该没有那么好的老板吧？原来呢 ，get the boot 就是委婉的表达解雇某人的意思啦。比方像是 She got the boot for stealing money from the cash register， 意思就是她因为从这个收银机里偷钱而被解雇了 ，fired out。
Okay, we are here for our For You chat today, and the question is, have you ever felt like you were under a lot of pressure? And how did you deal with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could ever say no to this question. I have definitely had a lot of things happening at the same time. My job, my hobbies, my friends, my family, all that stuff. How do I deal with it? Well, I probably power through it, and then I definitely take that time to recover.
That's right.
Yeah, so I have experienced burnout, and I have learned the hard way that you have to kind of take that time for yourself
Before you burn out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about you guys? As students, you probably have experienced a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about how you deal with burnout or you deal with this stress. We have to say goodbye. So for English for You, I'm Erin.
And I'm Kat.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's nothing brilliant about burnout. Work is going brilliantly, but you certainly don't feel brilliant. You're tired, exhausted even, and you're always getting sick. The doctors say nothing is wrong with you, but you certainly don't feel that way. What could possibly be the matter? No, you're not imagining it. You're experiencing burnout. This condition affects people who are under a lot of pressure, often causing them to feel tired and helpless. Some cultures don't consider burnout a real problem. However, it can have serious effects on people's health, at times even resulting in panic attacks. One problem with burnout is how we deal with it. When the pressure's on, many people respond by working harder and trying to power through it. However, this often makes things worse. Instead, experts suggest allowing ourselves time to recover from stress. Exercise, proper sleep, and social connections all help with this. If you find you're still sick with worry after all that, then maybe it's time for some bigger changes. Start putting yourself first, and you'll soon give burnout the boot.
Vocabulary Review.
Experience. Marie told her doctor that she experiences pain whenever she tries to stand up. Pressure. A lot of pressure is placed on kids in Asian countries to do well in school. Effect. Exercising before work has a positive effect on my mood, so I do it every day. Respond. Kevin hit his brother, and their mom responded by yelling at Kevin and sending him to his room. Expert. Marianne is an expert at cooking. Everything she makes tastes delicious. Connection. The connection between the two musicians soon became a friendship for life.
智慧小补帖
Exhausted. Burnout.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net